What's up, geometry? Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Math with Mullins. Today we're going to be looking at our lesson 5.2, congruent triangles. So yesterday we just finished up talking about equilateral and isosceles triangles. Now we're going to talk about how can they be congruent. So we're going to be using congruence criteria of corresponding congruent parts of triangles to solve problems, and then use third angles theorem and properties of triangle congruence to solve problems and prove relationships. So let's go ahead and get started. Congruent polygons, we're going to type out a definition here. Congruent polygons are just meaning all parts of one polygon are congruent to the matching parts of another polygon. And then corresponding parts are the matching parts between two or sometimes more congruent polygons. Today we're just going to look at matching two polygons and seeing those corresponding parts. So for example, I'm going to draw two trapezoids and you're going to pretend that they're congruent because I'm going to mark them correspondingly. So I have polygon ABCD, and then I'm also going to have polygon EFG and H. Okay. The reason that these are going to be matching is because A, B, and EF are going to have one tick mark. BC and FG will have two tick marks. CD, I want that one to be a new one. CD and GH will have matching tick marks, and AD and EH will have matching tick marks. The same thing can be true for their angles. Angle E can match with angle A because it has one arc. Angle B can match with angle F because it has two marks, and so on. So angle C can have three, so can angle G, and then angle D can have 1, 2, 3, 4, so can angle H. I'm not saying that I'm saying that right now all these angles and all these sides are different, but sometimes they can also be matching within themselves and match with another corresponding part. So keep that in mind. When triangles are congruent, we can write a congruency statement. So in this case, we have two triangles, ABC and DEF, and a valid congruency statement must match all corresponding angles and sides. So I want you to take a look at angle A and how it matches to angle D. So notice that A is the first one in our congruency statement, and angle D is the first letter in our congruency statement. Then the next one comes B. B has two arcs, E has two arcs. Notice that B is in second position, and so is E. And then last but not least, C and F both match because they have three arcs in them. C is in third position, so is angle F. One thing I also like to teach here is something called the stack. And that just means if I take my congruency statement, ABC, and I stack it on top of DEF, A matches to D, B matches to E, C matches to F. You can also look at them as segments. AB matches to DE, AC matches to DF, BC matches to EF. Okay, so those are going to be some tricks that we will use in example 1 here. So if you needed to take a moment and pause here, feel free to pause to write it down. Otherwise, let's get rolling on example 1. We're going to be able to identify all congruent corresponding parts and then write a congruency statement. Let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm going to write down are my congruent sides. So I might start with AB is congruent to, notice that AB has two tick marks, and so does WX. And I like to start, if I started with A to B, that means I'm also going to start with W and go to X because W matches with A and X matches with B. Then another side, I'm just going to go around the polygon. Side BC will be corresponding to side XD because they both have two tick marks. I started with B, then I went to C. So I'm going to start with X and then go to, oopsies, this is actually supposed to say XY. Yep. So this didn't print off the way it should have on your paper. Sorry, geometry. I'll make sure I fix that in the future. So that should say XY. Okay. Next, side CD is going to correspond or be congruent with side YZ. And then side AD will correspond or be congruent to side WZ. Okay? So matching angles, angle A is congruent to angle W. Angle B is congruent to angle X because they both have two arcs in them. Angle C is congruent to angle Y. And angle D is congruent to angle Z. Okay? So, to write my congruent statement, I would first think about your stack. I have a polygon, and maybe I start by naming it A, B, C, D. Usually I try to stick with ABC order for the first one. Then I need to match up the letters that go with A, then B, then C, then D. So A matches to X, B matches to, not A. A matches to W, B matches to X, C matches to Y, D matches to Z. Okay? So my congruent statement would say this. Polygon ABCD is congruent to polygon WXYZ. And that one just so happened for them to be both in ABC order. Not every single time will it be in ABC order. The important thing is you're matching your corresponding parts when you write your congruent statement. Okay? Let's go ahead and try this one. This one does not have a picture, so this is where you might want to utilize the stack method. List all congruent angles and sides of the given congruency statement. Go ahead and pause the video, see if you can try this one on your own, and when you're done, click play to check your work. Okay, if I know that triangle JKL is congruent to PQR, what I did is I just stacked the letters on top of one another so that I could see my matching angles first. Angle J is congruent to angle P. Angle K is congruent to angle Q. And then angle L is congruent to angle R. Then I did my sides. Side JK is congruent to side PQ. Side KL is congruent to side QR. And then I kind of skipped around for this one. I said side JL is congruent to side PR. Okay? Yes, some of you might have questions. Well, Miss Mullins, what if I wrote LJ? That is fine. If you wrote L to J, that means you need to write side RP. Okay? If in doubt, you can always draw a picture. J, K, L. But if I wrote JKL, then I need to write PQR in that same method. PQR. That way, J matches with P, K matches with Q, and L matches with R. And then you can see all of my sides matching as well. JK to PQ, KL to QR, JL to PR. Next up, we're going to try missing sides and angles. In the diagram, RSV is equal to TVS. Find the values of X and Y. So first, maybe let's start with 2y minus 1. What I would like to do is maybe set up my congruency statement, RSV and TVS, okay? RS is consisting of that 2y minus 1. So I look over here on my congruency statement, and RS matches with TV. TV already has my number I need, which is the number 24. So I'm going to set RS equal to TV. Here's RS, here's TV. And then I'm going to solve it. 2y minus 1 is equal to 24. I'm going to add 1 to both sides to get 2y is equal to 25. And then divide both sides by 2, I get y is equal to 12.5. Okay? Whoopsies. The next one I'm going to try to find is angle X. Angle X is tricky, but maybe let's focus on this right here. So in triangle RSV, I already have a 78 degree angle and a 90 degree angle. So I'm going to take 180 and subtract 78 and 90 to see what I get left over. And I'm going to get 12 degrees. Okay, So that means angle R is equal to 12 degrees. Well, then I come over here on my congruency statement and looky here. Angle R matches angle T, and that is exactly what I'm looking for. So angle T, or X, is equal to 12. Okay? See if you can try example 4 on your own. So let's go ahead and pause the video here, write down your congruency statement, see if you can find out what X and Y are equal to, and then click play to check your work. All right, one thing I started with is I wrote my stack. So ABC is equal to EDC. And then to solve for X, I just figured out, okay, X is a part of AB, which means AB is equal to ED. So AB is equal to ED, which means 3x minus 10, do a little substitution here, and ED is 20. I'm going to add 10 to both sides. I get 3x is equal to 30, so that means x has to be equal to 10. Cool. The next thing I want to figure out is y. Y is here, which is across from this angle here. And so if I look at triangle EDC, I know it's equal to 180 degrees. I already have 90 degrees taken care of and 36.87. So I'm going to subtract those two numbers from 180. And I'm going to get a leftover amount of, let's see, do my calculations here. 180 minus 90 is 90, and then 90 minus 36.87. I'm getting 53.13. So that means 53.13 is angle C. And if you notice your congruency statement, both angle C's are matching up. They are corresponding matching parts. So y is also equal to 53.13 since those are vertical angles. Okay. The last little bit is pretty easy. It is just stating that if two angles of one triangle are congruent to two angles of a second one, then those third angles would also be congruent. So right here we have angle C matches angle K, angle B matches angle J, so that means angle L must match angle A, okay? Taking that into consideration, we're also going to see a few other properties popping up here. Reflexive still means the same thing. Triangle ABC will be equal to triangle ABC. Symmetric is the same type of property, just using that in triangle congruence. If triangle ABC is congruent to EFG, then EFG would be matching ABC. And then transitive property, just like we saw in the past. If triangle ABC is congruent to EFG and EFG is equal to JKL, then ABC can be equal to JKL. Remember, transitive property can also be interchanged with substitution at sometimes, so that is okay if we use that in the future. Example 5 is a pretty simple example. Go ahead and pause the video, read it on your own, and then see what you think about it. When you're ready to check, go ahead and click play. All right, so this park ranger is planning to build trails from 2 bridges to create identical picnic areas. Identical meaning the same, congruent on either side of the creek as shown. Find the measurement of angle L. Here's measurement of angle L. Notice that we already have a 90-degree corner and a 43, so we're just taking 180, subtracting my 90 and my 43. I'm going to end up with 47, so the measure of angle L is equal to 47 degrees. Okay, that'll conclude our lesson on 5.2, congruent triangles. Hopefully that gives you some ideas of how to figure out the matching and corresponding sides of a triangle. This is definitely going to help us as we get more into Unit 5 when we start talking about a little bit more theorems and proving triangles congruent. Have a great day, and we'll catch you next time.